So this was the first year that we were able to collect pine cones off our pine trees that are in our backyard. I plan on using them some way or another in my Christmas decorations, but first they need to be clean. They are full of sap and probably bugs. After they are cleaned, I'm going to dry them out. So first I'm going to put them in a sink full of warm water with a cup of white vinegar, let them set for about 30 minutes, and then I will remove them from the water and let them air dry for about another hour or two. The pine cones have been soaking in the warm vinegar water for 30 minutes. The one side that has been face down into the water has all the sap off, but the side that was facing up still has a little bit of sap on it. So I'm going to kind of rotate those pine cones over so the sides that have the sap on are facing down, and I'm going to allow those to soak for another 30 minutes. The pine cones have been soaking in the warm vinegar water for another 30 minutes. It looks like for the most part, all the sap is off. There's a little bit here and there. I think that will bake off in the oven. So now what I'm going to do is just pick the pine cones up and shake off any of the water that might be inside the pine cone, and then put it on my paper towel. I was going to let them air dry for 2 hours, but I'm thinking I'm going to let them air dry overnight, and then tomorrow I'm going to bake them off. The pine cones sat and air dried for about 19 hours. I removed the paper towel from the baking tray, so now they're just sitting on the aluminum foil. I have my oven preheated to 275 degrees. I'm going to put them in the oven and bake them for an hour and see if they look like they're pretty much dried out. If not, I'm going to put them back in for another hour. Okay, so they've been in the oven for an hour, but there's still a little glistening to the pine cones from the pine sap, and you can see little drips of the pine sap. That is why we use foil on the pan. I'm going to go ahead and put these back in the oven for another hour so they can finish drying out. The pine cones baked in the oven for 2 hours total. They are nice and dry. Look how open they are. There's still a little glistening to them from where the pine sap is, but that's not sticky. So once these completely cool, I can use them in my Christmas decorations.